Hello and welcome back. Today I have three multimeters, again borrows from Eleshop. Eleshop, thank you. I would say it is kind of mid-range. They have 4.5 digits or more, but we are below the 150 euros, so just proper models. Not crazy high. It doesn't make sense to compare it with the Fluke because price-wise it doesn't make sense. So I have here three. I have here the Owon, the B41T Plus. It has a possibility also to connect to 2 and up via Bluetooth. I have here the UNI-T, the 161, the E version, so it's the highest version in that range. I think it also has a possibility to do logging on the computer, but I think that's as an option. And we have the Brymen. And the Brymen is actually doing a good job. And this is the latest one from the 860 series, and it's the 867S. And it is a little bit higher in price because the Owon with the Bluetooth is like 80. This one is around 130, and this one is around 150. But quality-wise, I think it also comes closest to the Fluke, and I think it even has a digit more. So this is 4/5. So let's see how that compares. Let's have a look at all the boxes. We start with the Owon. It was the lowest in price. The box is also looking very simple, but it doesn't mean the meter is simple. You can see here. It's for Android, Bluetooth and iOS, so you can download an app, and I think it can do some logging. It has a nice protective case. You get the manual, some specs. Here you can download the app. That is cool. And we have the meter, and the meter actually looks pretty nice. So have a look at that later. Unpack here the UNI-T. I think the box looks best of the three, and maybe in China or Asia where it comes from, I'm not sure. This does look very professional and nice, but I think as a European you prefer the black and the red. But yeah, they did the nicest job on the box, in my opinion. So let's have a look at that. Well, also protective. Well, here this comes with a USB, I see here, so that is cool. That option seems to be with this meter. This is the E version, is the highest. We zoom in on that later. Let's get the Brymen. Well, as I said, the box was a bit disappointing for such a professional meter, but that could also just be I look with the European eyes instead of Asian eyes. Look at this huge meter. Wow. It doesn't come with a protective casing, which is a pity. Almost look like they are gold pins. We'll have a closer look at that later. The meter looks super strong. Okay, let me clear the desk. Here we have all three of them with the casing if they have, and with the accessories that they have. And the first thing I noticed immediately was that the UNI-T comes with batteries, the Brymen comes with batteries, but the Owon comes without. And they all run on batteries, non-chargeable. The Owon has a nice big display. Well, the displays are more or less the same size. I think that the UNI-T is a little bit smaller, but we will have a closer look at that later. Well, as I said, it comes with nice plugs. And here we have some good quality crocodiles. It comes with a temperature sensor. That's nice. I didn't see that with the other meters. And if you want to measure your transistors or caps, you can do that with this adapter. We have a look at the UNI-T. Also proper plugs. Yeah, it just looks like good quality. The display is a little bit smaller. It has also a connection, while with the Owon it goes with Bluetooth. Here it goes with USB, and here it also has an adapter to measure your, I think you can do transistors, yeah, NPN, PNPs, and you can do caps. And you just plug this on top. The Brymen comes with least accessories. It just comes with 2 pins and batteries, although the cables feel very nice. It's more rubbery and more soft, more flexible. And you can clip them also in the back. And it seems you can also click something here that is maybe for the communication. It feels really solid. Well, what I noticed with the UNI-T, that if you remove the battery compartment, it is very easy access for the fuses, and I really put some fuses in there, some big ones. So you don't need to take it apart, because when I look in the battery compartment of the Owon, there were only the batteries there, and so then you really need to take the whole meter apart to replace the fuses. Good thing is that they are all fused. This one is fused. This one is fused. We'll have a look at it later, but I just wanted to show you this. Easy access. Just one screw in the batteries. To come to the batteries of the Brymen, you really need to take it out of its cover completely. And well, that is good protection, but it is also a bit more complicated to do. But this is a proper cover. And now we just need to loosen the 2 screws. Also with Brymen, you need to, this is a 9-volt battery, but to replace the fuses, you also need to open it completely. So that is an extra point for the UNI-T in that sense, that yeah, it's more easy to replace your fuses, but yeah, if you use it properly, you never need to replace your fuses. Okay, let's see the multimeters a little bit closer by, and yeah, we have these fuses that I talk about. This one has everything fused. The 20 ampere is fused, and the lower value 220 milliamps is fused. It is a 1000-volt category 3. Here the UNI-T also has the lower fused with 600 and the higher fused with 20. And this one has also a category 3 for 1000 volts, and it also has a category 4 for 600 volts. So in that sense, this is has one category extra. Then we have a look at the Brymen, and the Brymen also has here a 10 amp fuse and here 600 millis. So again, both are fused, which is good. And this one even has a category 4 to 1000 volts. So this one has the highest category, and it's also highest in price. So in that sense, the prices still make sense. Okay, let's see the other differences. Let's put them first to AC volts, AC volts, AC volts. We see same amount of digits. And here we can switch from AC to DC, and that is about it. So I keep it just to AC. If we see here they are all 3 are through RMS, by the way. Here is as an extra, if you are in AC, you have also AC with a low pass filter, so you can get some high frequencies out of the way. And when we look at the Brymen, I didn't find the low pass filter, but the nice thing is it shows the frequency and the voltage at the same time, and we can change also. Then you see it in dBms, also with the frequency, and you change it again, then you have the voltage and the frequency the other way around. So some nice options there. And then we check the DC function. Well, in the Owon you just switch it over to DC, and that's it. Here you can switch it over, but then they have some extra options here. You can measure here also the AC component, and then it just switches over AC, RMS and DC. And now you measure only DC, the same as here. You measure here the DC, but if you select, you also get the AC component there in the top. And here this is AC plus DC and the AC component there. And here you have only DC. And the Brymen has an extra trick under his sleeve. If you push this button long, you get an extra digit. So this one now has the most digits. Then they also have the millivolt options, just to get some more below the 0, have a better resolution. Here it's just AC, DC again. If I go here to the millivolts, and you can again AC, then you also have the DC. And as an extra in the AC mode here, you can switch on also how many hertz and the duty. That is extra with this one. And well, I will expect in the Brymen absolutely the same type of options. DC, AC plus DC modes again, also in the millivolts. So that is really again well done on the Brymen with all these extra options. And you can do the frequency also, and I would expect the duty also, and it does. Can we also get an extra digit in the millivolts? Yes. Wow. Well, they all have a diode mode. With the Owon you need to rotate it. Now it's in resistance, diode, and in auto mode. This is a circuit diode, and so it rotates. Here we have the same. It is now in ohms, it is now in circuit, so it beeps. It is now in diode, and it is now in capacitor mode. Here we just have a single one for the diode, for the capacitor, and for the resistance. Yeah, for the Owon we have the frequency separate setting. Here it's a frequency separate setting, but on this meter you could already see it in the AC modes, just show extra in the display. Then the Owon has an extra the temperature. The UNI-T has as an extra also the transistor testing, and here I didn't find any of those options. All three of them have an extra setting for the microamps. That is great to also measure low values. They have the milliamps, the milliamps, the milliamps. And if you want to do your high currents, you just go to amp, and here you keep it on the same setting, but then you just use different plugs. And this one is really made for industrial, because here it's even a percentage of the 4 to 20 milliamps. And the 4 to 20 milliamps, you also find it in my calibrator here, that is used in industrial standards for sensors. And the UNI-T has as an extra the non-contact voltage detection, and then well, it should scream, but it doesn't. Is it on the top or is it at the bottom, or I need my cable here in this corner? No. Ah, yeah, there it is. Okay, it needs to be pointed like this, not like this. Okay, so that works. We saw that also on the cheap Chinese one. And more meters are having this option, the non-contact voltage. Okay, do they have backlight? Yes, it is. How we find it in? Yes, you can see this one is less bright than this one. Yeah, it doesn't really show well on the... And this is the most bright. Well, that has been a lot of looking at the meters all the time. What I would like to do also, I just do some testing as I usually do. I look at my voltage, well, it's not really calibrated, but my voltage standard, and I will check if they are within specs. So we're going to do that with the voltage, with the current, with the resistance. And they also have options like a peak, min, max. All three of them have that. So maybe we can have a look at that. So yeah, let's start with that. I usually do also some sort of baseline test, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just comparing my standards that I'm going to use today with the current temperature, whatever. I'm just gonna compare them to my Kitli, and then at least we know a little bit if it's all correct or not, that my standards are good. Okay, baseline is set. All the equipment is still okay. So let's do the measurements. It's gonna be boring, so I think I put a time lapse and I will just zoom in on the display so you can see that there are sometimes more digits, especially for the Brymen. I already see little differences, and it's not only because there's extra digits that you can switch on and switch off, but with these 2 meters, they have now 4 behind the point. But when I do my lowest, that is 2.5 volt, I already lose 1 digit, so then I only have 3 left. And this one both have that. But the Brymen does up to 5 volts, it will keep the 4 digits, and then I can even switch on the 5th one. So in the lower voltages, even by default, the Brymen has an extra digit, and you can even switch on an extra. I'm fighting a little bit with the lightning, but I think we can see the displays now. So now I'm 2.5 volts. And now you see it's 4 digits, but when I'm in 2.5 volts, because of the auto mode, it immediately started already to switch. And yeah, probably if I do manual, now it will overload. You could see the bar chart. So here I immediately lose already the last digit. So that now I have actually 3. And here happens exactly the same. You see, the last digit is not there. But when we look at the Brymen, here it is. Here we have that extra digit, and we can even get one more. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I want to show you the bar chart. As you can see here, you also have this bar, and it's now up 2.5. We'll go to 5. And here you see it has the 4 digits, or 5. But if we go higher than 5, then it also switches back. And then the bar chart here is almost there and almost there. Rounding is a bit weird, by the way, because it says here 1, and it's actually 1617. And it should have been a 2. Actually, that's weird, but I like the extra digits. I will do the same with the currents, 4 milliampere, 10 and 20, and then I will write down in the table that we can look at later. So it's a little bit expected maybe. They are not bad. None of them are bad. They are just good and accurate. The only thing is that the Brymen has an extra digit on most of the ranges. The Owon has a Bluetooth, so you can connect it to your phone, or if you have a Bluetooth adapter to your computer, and you can do your logging there. With the UNI-T you can do logging through the provided USB cable, and the Brymen doesn't have that, but it has the extra digit. Then the extra on top of the Owon, what the UNI-T has, that is the AC plus DC mode, and the Brymen also have that. You can do temperature extra with this one. You can do transistor test with this one. And the Brymen doesn't have it, but the Brymen has the extra digit. It is a higher rating, Cat 4 at 2000. This one is only to 600, and this one only has a Cat 3 for 1000. So also the categories that they are tested are also by the range of the pricing. And the good thing about all these meters, I already said they are not bad. They are just good meters, very good meters. I will share the table. They are mostly spot on. All the current inputs are fused in all 3 models, and that is a real plus. What I liked about the UNI-T with the fuses is that they were very easy accessible in the battery compartment. You don't need to open the whole meter. And for the Owon and for the Brymen, you need to open the full meter. Yeah, and if you ask me which one you like best, I think it would purely depend on the budget, because you really get what you pay for. This is a nice basic meter, and only on the lower voltages you have that extra digit, and the same for this one also. The plus was really the fuses, but I can't remember I ever needed to replace a fuse in my meter. If you use it professionally and you need to deal with categories, this one is the best. It's category 4 rating with 1000 volts. By this one only has up to 600, which is kind of normal. So this is actually high, and this one doesn't even have a Cat 4 rating. Also, this one seems that it is better protected for falling, but the downside is it makes it bulky because it's a lot bigger. Both of these have the clips in the back where you can put your terminals, which is nice. And the Owon doesn't have that. The Owon is very light. This one then, and this one is the most heavy. So I decided not to bother you with all the percentages of the accuracy. I will give you the table that I more or less found here and there. But I will share my own results that I found and which one was the closest to the standard. I will light up, and then you will probably see. Would make sense that the Brymen comes first, but the differences are so little. So good luck choosing your meter. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.